Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Omega Live with JJ Women Without Borders. Sorry about that. The feed fell this time. It had nothing to do with Flo. Can't give Flo the bad name this time. This time it was my laptop. My laptop crashed, guys. Yeah, and so I had to restart. Well, actually, it's not the laptop. It's the browser. Well, the browser crashed because of the laptop lack of memory. That is the RAM, random access memory. Yeah, so I do have that issue to deal with also. I'm so sorry about that. So for my long time viewers, you know the drill, right? Whenever the feed falls like that and the program has to be restarted, what I do, I put together a playlist and then I send out that link so that you can actually watch it seamlessly for those persons who are not able to resume watching when the program restarts. Yeah. So I will send that out. I'll do the playlist later and send that playlist out. For my girlfriend Saloni at the sanctuary worshiping at this point in time, well, she'll be happy. Well, she'll get to watch it seamlessly when I send out the playlist because she's not watching right now. Yeah. Thank you guys for sticking with me. With those of you who have stayed with me, thank you for sticking around. So I will just continue where I left off with regard to the news. Okay, so I was giving you that story about that lady, Mrs. Sinclair, who lost her life at the National Chest Hospital. So I was saying, I gave you the husband's side of the story. So now I'm going to give you the Sarah's side, the Southeast Regional Health Authority side, right? You know, there's always two sides to a story, and I always give you balanced news, right? So, meanwhile, according to the Southeast Regional Health Authority, Sarah, they have advised that they have launched an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the death of a patient, referring to Mrs. Sinclair, at the National Chest Hospital. The incident occurred on July 8, 2020. The authority said a preliminary report from the probe has found that the medical team that was involved provided all the necessary medical attention to the patient and the applicable clinical management procedures had been followed. It said the patient was admitted to the hospital for a known chronic respiratory illness. In a release on Saturday, Sarah said, as part of the Ministry of Health and Wellness surveillance protocol, all patients being admitted to the public hospitals must be tested for COVID-19. And as such, the patient in question was tested for the virus and a negative result was returned. So for the person who was saying that she was positive, guys, she was not positive, she was negative. The same thing with Jodie and Ferron. They claimed that she was positive for COVID-19, she was not positive, she tested negative. However, there have been suggestions that at the time of the incident, she was being kept in isolation at the hospital, and there has also been an indication that she may have died in an attempt to escape from the facility. Without elaborating, Sarah said the management of the National Chest Hospital has been asked to examine the existing security protocols at the facility and, where necessary, to put in place appropriate measures for patients who may pose a risk to themselves. The authority's board chairman, Wentworth Charles, is reported to have committed to giving full disclosure of the findings of the investigation to the family of the deceased upon the conclusion of the investigation. The authority has also given an assurance that every effort will be made by its staff to preserve the lives of all who seek treatment and care at its institutions. 43-year-old Karsha Johnson Sinclair is believed to have fallen to her death in a shoot at the National Chest Hospital Wednesday morning, and her family is seeking clarity about what really happened. It was suggested initially that the woman was believed to have been afflicted with COVID-19 and was trying to escape the hospital and fell into the ventilator chute in which she died. Another story, guys, involving our hospitals. So you see what I'm telling you when I tell you that our hospital system, our health system is broken. You see what I'm telling you? How many times since March have you seen and heard me tell you stories about incidents involving Andrews Hospital, UHWI, yeah? Now, National Chest Hospital and other hospitals around the island, yeah? All of these instances that have been exposed due to COVID-19. We're seeing all the cracks in the system, guys. There's another crack in the system again. So we know it's not because it's not due to the fact that we have this great healthcare system, why our numbers are what they are. And so you see what I'm I'm saying to you, and I tell you the reason that we have those numbers, right? Not because of a great healthcare system at all. Our system is broken and needs to be fixed. Yeah. Light and Power Utility Company, that is the JPS, Jamaica Public Service, has apologized for what a company executive described as a breaking down of its relationship with the public, but did not back down from admission by the company that it inflates bills of legitimate customers to compensate for electricity theft. Quote, "If we have offended anyone, it was not our intention. We're sorry that our relationship has broken down in this way. But I'm certain that some misunderstanding has happened along the way. And I simply say to them," referring to the protesters who were there, I'm going to tell you, on Saturday, "feel free to reach out to any of us. I know have been in dialogue with them, and we are willing to listen, and we're willing to deal with the situation that exists as best as possible." This coming from the Senior Vice President for Customer Services, Ramsey McDonald. So he said that to the reporters who were actually on the scene on Saturday morning at the offices of the Jamaica Public Service, where protests had placards protesting the recent news that customers were being charged, legitimate customers were being charged for those who weren't paying their light. JPS sentiments started gathering in front of the JPS building from about 8 o'clock yesterday morning. Company executives later invited them onto the compound. Quote, "First of all, the burden and the pain that they're feeling, and we're working as best as possible to give them the support in the very difficult and trying times," Mr. McDonald said. He argued that the government and the public at large have roles to play in fighting electricity theft, and urged the public to help by swapping out incandescent light bulbs for LED ones, that's the energy saving ones, right? And report people known to be illegally connected to the grid. Quote, "Let's not lose sight of what this is all about. It's about a crime. It's about electricity theft, which is a crime. And in order for us to address this scourge upon our nation, we need to work together as a team. All of us need to be involved. The protesters are simply voicing their opinions and voicing their concerns." That was very big of him, right? "We've heard them, and we're simply saying to the rest of Jamaica, together we can conquer this, but we can't do it alone. We're not the police force." Okay, so therefore, they're saying we need the police force to intervene. So that we're saying, therefore, this is something the Ministry of National Security is supposed to look into, because JPS, under contract, right, provide us with electricity, right, as the consumers. So basically, reading between the lines, they're saying, according to Mr. McDonald, but then again, we are not the police, are we? It's not our job to report electricity theft to JPS. We're not the police either, right? So why put us in it? Why put the burden on us to report electricity theft to you? And we're still not going to say, because of the fact that we did not report it to you, it gives you any right to charge us what they are not paying. Quoting him again, he said, "We've done a number of initiatives in order to try and support and help reduce electricity theft. We've spent millions of dollars trying to regularize communities in trying to bring this theft down. But it's not going to work with JPS alone. We need our customers, we need our government to stand behind us and work together on a plan that will reduce electricity crime here in Jamaica," McDonald said. He added, "We want to find ways of bringing down electricity costs. Here in Jamaica, we don't produce natural oil. We don't produce gas. But what we can do is we can reduce what hurts us greatly on our bills, and that's the theft of electricity." And I like how he says, "our bills," putting himself in it. So I presume the VP has a very hefty electricity bill also, right? Because of course it uses the facility, right? So I am presuming, right? Okay. Yeah. Gentleman says, "If you see it, guys, you must report it." Yeah. Okay, so continuing with the news, guys. So I want to get to. I'm gonna skip one and bring it to you tomorrow because it is not really that urgent. I give it the most urgent ones. They're time sensitive, and like I said, these are headlines that I read. I did not read the details of these articles because this morning I could not read the articles because of what was happening this morning. So I am giving you blind. As I get it, you get it, right? All right. So the next story I want to give to you guys is this one. Excuse me. Huh. Okay, so long wait for justice, destitute claimants forced to start legal battle all over after judges retire without delivering judgment. This was also on the Sunday Gleaner, but it was an headline. So this is the story behind that headline. Cindy Robinson was 22 years old when she visited the Morant Bay Health Center, located in St. Thomas, for a routine tooth extraction back in April 2007. Listen to the story, guys. The government-run clinic has disputed her claim of negligence during the procedure, but Robinson contends that before it ended, she began experiencing blurred vision and severe headache. Days later, her life was changed forever. Robinson, a former assistant haulage contractor, lost sight in both eyes and became permanently disabled. That's the label she was given, right? Because she lost both eyes, she was permanently disabled. She hired a team of attorneys, and by January 2008, they filed a medical malpractice lawsuit against the government and the dentist who did the extraction, accusing him of, quote, failing to conduct proper procedure in a professional manner, end quote, among other allegations of negligence. After a 3-day trial in the Supreme Court in June 2010, Justice Raymond King, who presided over the case, reserved his decision. That means he didn't give a decision at that point in time, right? 3 years later, that's in 2013, King retired without delivering the judgment. And I'll tell you why he retired in a minute. Quote, I'm very upset about that. That's what Robinson said to the Gleaner, the Sunday Gleaner, on Friday. Him say, him going to give him judgment and he retire without doing it. As a result, end quote, as a result, the visually impaired woman was forced to file a second lawsuit against the Jamaican state. 10 years later, and still no justice, referring from 2010 to 2020. So that it will actually be 7 years later, right? Yeah. Anyways, it has taken a devastating toll on Robinson. Her situation has deteriorated so badly, said one of her attorneys, Mandy Nicholson, that even if she was to get a new trial now, he can't assist in her own case. Quote, my emotional and psychological condition in awaiting a judgment and or an outcome to my case has worsened, Robinson wrote in court documents, a copy of which was obtained by the Sunday Gleaner. Quote, I'm still legally blind, and the sole financial and psychological support I had during my trial was my fiancé, who has since passed away. I mean, all this time, the poor man died. I currently have no financial assistance. I am not working, and my condition, including the ability to recall events over a long period of time, has been adversely affected. The second lawsuit, which was filed last November 2019, is an attempt by Robinson to avoid a second trial and to convince another judge to grant her a declaration that her constitutional right to a fair trial within a reasonable time has been violated. And as a result, award her damages in excess of $25 million. That's what she's claiming. Excuse me, guys. Thank you. Sorry about that. Yeah. Robinson's case brings fresh attention to the plight of litigants who, after waiting years to finally have their day in court, now find themselves waiting up to a decade in some instances for rulings from retired Supreme Court judges. Listen to this. A total of 27 judgments remain outstanding from four retired High Court judges up to last week, 2020, we're talking about, according to the Court Administration Division, the CAD. One of the 4 jurists is responsible for 15 cases. The others each have 6, 4, and 2. Yeah? Note, and this is why, listen to why this is happening. This is why it's happening. Listen to this. Supreme Court judges are required under Section 100 of the Jamaican Constitution to demit office at age 70. They may be allowed to continue serving, but must first get permission from the Governor General, acting on the advice of the Prime Minister. CAD did not reveal the name of the retired judges with rulings outstanding, but documents reviewed by the Sunday Gleaner indicate that King and Lennox Campbell are among them. The documents include 5 cases, 2 dating back to 2009, that were presided over by King and 1 for Campbell. The story continues, but of course, I want to zero in on something here, guys. So, the Constitution, the Jamaican Constitution, allows for remittance, for demitting office at the age of 70. Recently, we were told that the Andrew Holness administration was requesting from the Governor General an extension on the DPP's tenure for 3 years because she supposedly has backlog cases to complete. She, out of her own mouth, said among the reasons include renovating the offices, which apparently only she alone can supervise. Yeah. And of course, 50 gang cases coming up. Apparently, she's the only one able to deal with it. Whereas, here you see, we have some judges who have cases that they were actually presiding over, but because they reached the age of 70, which is constitutionally the age that they were supposed to retire, they had to retire without actually passing judgment on these cases. However, listen to this carefully. According to the Constitution, they may be allowed to continue serving if the Governor General gives them permission and if the Prime Minister advises it. So the same way the Prime Minister asked for extension of the DPP's time, he could have asked for extension for these judges' time so that they could have completed their case, the cases and give these people jobs. You see what I'm saying to you guys here, what's happening? This is why we do not trust our representatives. You understand? Because what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. And when you do things like this, it shows you have ulterior motives. Because why would you not extend the time for these judges, but insist that they retire at the constitutional age of 70, even though they're in the midst of a trial? But here it is. You want to extend the DPP's tenure by 3 years. These things don't look right. These things do not look right. This is why we question your motives when you do things like these. All right. Another story I want to give you. It's also on the front page of the paper. The Sunday paper. Again, I haven't read the story, guys. I just saw the headline, so I grabbed the article. So it's on the front page. You see right there. It's just a headline. Can you see the headline? Yeah. Can you see it? Nepotism, cronyism run Jamaica. Stakeholders say the practice is deeply entrenched in politics and business, as the headline on the front page of the Gleaner, today's Gleaner. So the story attaching to that goes like this, guys. So sorry. Jamaica's political apparatus has operated and functioned on nepotism and cronyism since independence, but until lawmakers enact legislation to make the practice illegal, no amount of inflammatory language from state commissions will make a difference, stated social commentator Dr. Paul Ashley. Nepotism, which is the practice among those with power or influence of favoring their relatives or friends, especially by giving them jobs and contracts, and cronyism, which is the appointment of friends and associates to positions of authority without proper regard to their qualifications, have long dominated Jamaica's political and business culture, said the straight-talking, no-holds-barred Ashley. Quote, so what do we want to do? Strip politicians of the ability to have a say in who gets work? Then what? Who is going to vote if there's no direct or indirect benefits? Do we have another system that lawmakers should use to keep their constituents happy? He questioned. His comments came in wake of the recent revelation about the adverse pronouncement by the DPP, Paula Llewellyn, against the People's National Party PNP, St. Anne's South East Member of Parliament, Lisa Anna. Although finding nothing criminal, the DPP cited the MP for nepotism and cronyism in the award of contracts for work done in her constituency. Now, this is a report that was done from 2019. However, it is only in 2020, the middle of the year, that we are hearing about this. And again, the question begs to be asked, why now? Llewellyn, in her 2019 ruling, see, I haven't read the story before, so I didn't even know that she was going to say that. Okay, so Llewellyn, in her 2019 ruling, said inter alia that it was reasonable to form the view that the St. Anne Municipal Corporation was being used as a vehicle through which PNP cronies were awarded constituency development funds under the CDF contracts with negligent or inadequate supervision as to their execution, quote, which potentially amounts to egregious breaches of the Government of Jamaica procurement policy guidelines. Non-supporters, associates, or affiliates of the PNP disproportionately benefited from the award of contracts. That's what our report said, and the DPP. The DPP, by the way, you understand, who was appointed by the Bruce Golding administration, the JLP administration, okay? They were the ones who appointed her, yeah. Investigations by the then Office of the Contractor General, OCG, before it became the Integrity Commission, focused on 53 directly single-source contracts awarded by the municipal body between 2011 and 2015. The contract valued at $13.3 million were largely related to the bushing and drain cleaning works. Hannah told the OCG that she selected the contractors because they proved to be trustworthy. Those were her words. According to Ashley, nepotism and cronyism are the chief executive of the country's operating system across the board, on both sides, whether JLP or PNP or in government or out of government, right? Why are we pretending that we are stupid, is the question he's asking. I go further. I'm asking one politician, past or present, who has never recommended or selected individuals for work to hold up their hands. So if you are a politician, put up your hand. If you have never recommended or selected individuals for work, successive administrations have been plastered by nepotism and cronyism for decades. Millions in international funding for anti-corruption measures have done little to tame the monster. While addressing an Area Council 3 meeting in Palm Coast, Clarendon, Prime Minister Andrew Holness spoke of the entrenchment of corruption. The Jamaica Labour Party leader fingered the PNP, stating that when it was in government, several corruption issues emerged, and said that the corruption was not a partisan issue, but rather a general social problem nationally. that his party is addressing internally. This is the Prime Minister speaking. Nevertheless, the same Prime Minister who is pointing fingers has among his cabinet ministers who have, I would say, done much worse than just give a contract to your friend or family. Because when you are the oversight, right, of a land portfolio that you are seeking to lease said land to do an Airbnb business for your private use, that goes way beyond. Yeah? When you are the oversight and you have lands that you have leased and built infrastructure on to cut a Western Union for your personal gain, that goes way beyond nepotism and cronyism. Yeah? These are, I'm sure, even illegal. That have got to go against the laws of our land. Yeah? So be careful of this finger pointing, because when you point that finger, look at what's pointing back at you. It has been said and proven. I say to you guys, time longer than rope. Yes, the truth prevails in time, right? Truth flourishes in time. Give it time. All will be revealed. Dr. Ashley said politicians have long played tit for tat on the issue that has been standard operating procedure nationwide. Dr. Jermaine McAlpin, the former chair of the African and African American Studies program at New Jersey City University, said nepotism is a dimension of corruption. Quote, in terms of the destruction about patron-client relationship, there are many dimensions of corruption. If we look at Transparency International's notion of corruption, nepotism law, the traffic law, right? And many people can raise their hands and say, I have been a victim to a police trying to bribe because you broke a traffic law. We know that. Many taxi operators can tell you how many times officers have bribed them because of breaking traffic laws. So we know it exists. And it's a part of corruption. Yeah? Corruption as the use of public or political office for private power of oneself or one associate, then we may have to give a variation between a legal and ethical definition of corruption. Quote, so nepotism is one of the dimensions of corruption, even if it is not legal. It should be illegal, right? Corruption is corruption. What we are doing is linguistic gymnastics to say, because the DPP said it's not criminal, it wasn't corruption. There are ethical dimensions of corruption. Michael Williams, who chairs the NDM, that's the party, National Democratic Movement, yeah, it's more of an advocacy group more than a party at this point, said nepotism and cronyism are the first order of business in Jamaica. Quote, the politics we practice as its epicenter in nepotism and cronyism. Remember the comments of former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson, where he characterized Jamaican politics as the fight for scarce benefits and political spoils carried on by hostile tribes which seem to be perpetually at war. Patterson did not endorse it, but he knew how the system operates. It is the same system that operates today, Williams said. Similarly, former PNP General Secretary Maxine Henry Wilson characterized politics as being about who gets what, where, when, and how. Guys, these are out of the horse's mouth to hearing information, right? Out of the horse's mouth. Does it? Hannah's crime is that she was under the microscope. So she was adjudicated, but not found criminally liable by a JLP administration, right? NDM has been the most viable of all the third parties to have contested general elections since independent Jamaica. And the story continues. What I'm looking for, sometimes I hate. Okay, all right. So here, Mr. Let me give you a piece more. Here, this is Mr. Okay. Oh, it's not him. The contractor doesn't want to be identified. He says, okay, let me give you this one. A contractor who said his company has benefited from billions of dollars in government contracts over the years, billion with a B, but who asked to remain anonymous, said the practice of direct source is standard procedure, noting that nepotism and cronyism were identical twins. Quote, sometimes I hate Jamaicans and the way we like to pretend. This is the contractor speaking. Every contractor knows, every operative word, every contractor knows they will benefit when their government is in power. Many times it's the MP, and this is the contractor who is speaking from experience. Many times it's the MP who usually calls me to tell me to bid on a contract. Sometimes I am not going to give up that opportunity. So I will stop there, guys, because you see what is happening in our country. Yeah. And I have to give you one of the international news. I have no 2 cents on this one because you are intelligent viewers. My views are intelligent. You can read between the lines and you can understand for yourself what is happening here. Okay, I'll give you enough information where you can make informed decisions. So let me give you my international news before I close. I'm closing my program, guys. I gotta give you international news because I'm a woman without borders, right? So I gotta go overseas, and I'm going overseas to Johannesburg, South Africa, where things are going. Yeah. So, police in South Africa say 5 people are dead and more than 40 have been arrested after an early morning hostage situation at a long troubled church near Johannesburg. That's in South Africa, yeah? This happened yesterday, guys. Yesterday morning, this happened yesterday. Hot off the press. A statement said police and military who responded to reports of a shooting at the International Pentecostal Holiness Church headquarters in Zurbichum found 4 people shot and burned to death in a car. You think it only happened in Jamaica, huh? And a security guard shot in another car. 6 other people were injured. Police said they rescued men, women, and children who had been held hostage and appeared to have been living at the church. It was not clear how many were rescued. The attack by a group of armed people may have been motivated by a feud between church members, the police said. The church is one of the largest and reportedly richest in South Africa. Photos tweeted by the police showed more than a dozen men lying on the ground, subdued, along with rifles, pistols, a baseball bat, and boxes of ammunition, including at least 1 marked law enforcement. So it's where they get them ammunition from, guys. Anything strange? No, doesn't that sound familiar to you? Where are they getting the ammunitions? You're here in South Africa. One of the box marked law enforcement. The response by security forces averted what could have been a more severe bloodbath. National Police Commissioner Kayla John-Titole said. Among those arrested were members of the police, defense forces, and correctional services. The church's Zurbichum headquarters has been the scene of violence between factions more than once in recent years, with shots fired, rocks thrown, and cars smashed, according to local news reports. Quote, trouble has been brewing at the church following the death of its leader, Clayton Modise, in February 2016, the Sowetan newspaper reported in 2018. Okay, guys, that's it for my news story for you for today. I do hope you enjoyed the program. I am so sorry we had we had a break in the broadcast in the stream. Of course, as a result of which I will be putting together my playlist and send out to you guys later. So those of you who did not get a chance to watch the program and are looking to tune in later, so as for you to get a seamless transmission, I'll send out the link for that feed. Okay, all right, guys, thank you so very much for tuning in for the program today. I do thank you. I really appreciate you. Thank you for all my subscribers. Thank you for my first time. I bring you the news and I give you my 2 cents on it. Not all the time, but most of the time, right? Okay, and I help you to help, including myself, to make informed decisions about what's happening in Jamaica and the diaspora and globally, basically. Yeah, absolutely. As a woman without borders, I bring the news from all over the world. I've run out of time, otherwise I'd give you some more information, but I'll pick up again tomorrow at noon, same time, guys. Tomorrow at noon, I'll be on streaming live, God willing, and I'll have more information for you and more, much more international news. So, as always, I tell you guys, when you're going out, you remember we're in a pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. It's it's not a death sentence. I know many persons are dying, but I tell you, modified, which is why it has been difficult for the doctors, the scientists to discover and to learn more about it. But as they learn more and more every day about what the virus is and how it mutates, because it's always mutating, as viruses normally do, guys. You know that the flu always mutates, which is why I tell you I don't take flu shots, because it's always mutating. And you take a vaccine for it today, it is no longer viable tomorrow. So it makes no sense as far as I'm concerned to take a flu shot. So I don't take it. Or many people do. That's their prerogative. I don't knock them for doing it. I just don't do it. That's my prerogative. Yeah. Okay. But I'm saying, guys, infection, as I explained how infection works. If you break the link, right, you break the infection. And how you break the link, right? Removing things that some of the link. One of the link is, for example, the portal of entry, right? You got to have a portal of entry and a portal of exit. That means the virus has to come out of your body if you already have it, and it has to go into your body if you don't have it via your nose or your mouth. That's why you wear a mask, to cover